This looks a lot like Doug Hay, but it's not Doug Hay. This is Matt Frazier. Excited about this morning show, and I'm going to bring Doug in here in just a minute, or bring the other one in just a minute. Since I am Doug, of course, I got my corn chips ready, and I'm pumped for an episode. Let's see if he'll request with us. My volume done yet? All right, Chuck Jody gets it. I don't see Doug coming in just yet. So looks like right now it's just me. The funny thing was how many people predicted this, sort of stole the thunder by exactly predicting. Yes, Mr. Jeffrey, you did get it right. Very nice. And then people just kept piling on with the ideas. All right, there's Doug.
Matt, I mean Doug, who I don't even know who I'm talking to today.
I know, everything's crazy. So okay, it appears to me that you are an avocado that's really dirty.
No, not an avocado.
A potato.
Let's see if... No.
Okay, it's 3D glasses.
Yep.
Is it futuristic? 3D printed meat, 3D printed vegan salmon.
3D printed salmon, yes. That's it.
That's a great outfit. Great costume.
Oh, thank you. Oh man, where did you get that wig?
I ordered it from Amazon. It almost didn't come in time. And unfortunately, I shaved my facial hair a few weeks ago. All right, Mr. Jeffrey says that my single earbud has stopped working, so I'm gonna switch that.
Okay.
That was Holden's suggestion that I use a.
Oh.
What I don't know is when I plug this in, what will happen.
Okay. Oh man, you got it all. The single earbud, the chips, the hair.
I also have I got an artisan hipster made Black Mountain coffee mug from a local
yes,
guy.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. It's so good. It's so good.
I like your shirt today. Man. It's a lot like mine.
It is, yeah. It's the only salmon-colored shirt that I had.
Oh, it's salmon.
I'm having a little technical problem. It's telling me to request again, so I'm gonna get out and I'll come right back in.
Okay, go for it. So, brief intermission here. Doug, you'll still be on the multi-stream. I hope you know that. Anyway, we've got some good Halloween stuff coming up. If we're ready to go away from costumes, which I guess we're ready to go. Doug, I really appreciate the creativity, the out-of-boxness of Doug's. Doug's always good for a costume like that. The 3D printed is a very, very nice touch. All right, he's back.
All right.
You good?
All right. Yep, I'm good. There's no way I'm going to be able to watch this whole thing and with these glasses on. It's going to be super trippy, but
that's okay. So yeah, we need. I have to get rid of the corn chips obviously pretty soon. Is this the brand that you buy? I'm guessing you buy more of an artisan quinoa centric.
Brand. I actually buy it's Tostitos Organic, which is just okay. Definitely not artisan, but they're just so salty and delicious. It is a good thing that I do not keep corn chips on my desk because I would be munching them the entire episode every day.
So it's inauthentic to have them at the desk.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So how was your weekend, Matt?
It was okay. The puppy adoption that was supposed to happen fell through. So that was a blow. It made it hard to kind of get through the weekend because they're really wearing on us. I mean, they're great, beautiful, nice dogs. But they're just a handful. I mean, just puppies are, and 2 is crazy. So we're still working on that. The most interesting thing I have is I went on an adventure on Saturday to try to get some food. I was going to get some Korean ingredients. So Aaron got me this cookbook for Christmas last year, Korean Vegan.
I'm having a lot of trouble taking you seriously with that wig on. It's so good.
I didn't do my Doug impression. Am I like, yo, dude, we went to the trail. We got some gnarly. It's so eco-friendly. Drive my Subaru, dude. I don't know. I don't have a Doug impression, but I thought I would do something that sounded like I imagine you would sound in my dreams, but didn't work. Okay, and so anyway, that's the cookbook. I have not cooked anything from it because it's been this like overwhelming task because I've known that first I have to get to a Korean market to get the ingredients I need. And whenever something is 2 steps like that, hey, nice mug there, Doug. I like it. A lot like mine. Forged in a fire. anyway, those two-step kind of things just take forever. It's just hard enough to plan a meal, but then to know you got to find a market. So I try to do that. I went to an Asian market. I had like 5 things I needed to get, and they were words that I don't know. I knew what the things were supposed to be, but had never heard of these ingredients or words I didn't know how to even pronounce. So I got there. I couldn't find anything. I mean, I was just lost in this place because it was Vietnamese, Thai, Chinese.
Yeah.
I don't think there was much Japanese. I'm not sure. But I had no clue what I was looking for. And like the person was busy, and I was just sort of embarrassed to ask for help, needing so many things and knowing so little. So I ended up getting nothing at the market. I was near a Walmart, so I thought, okay, Audible, I'll go get some Beyond Steak tips and give that a try.
Yeah.
Went there. They were totally out of the Beyond Steak tips, they have a great fake meat selection there, by the way. They also have the Omni Food stuff we've been talking about, which was like the pot stickers and the egg rolls with pork or something. And then 2 others that were sold out. I forget which ones they were, but they didn't have the stuff I wanted, the egg roll, or sorry, the pot stickers. So I didn't get that. And then the line was really long. I had picked out some Impossible Bowls, which we have talked about, thinking, at least look at that. And the line was so long. It was like halfway back to the store. I don't know what was going on. So then I left there with nothing. Finally ended up at Publix. And I did find one of the Korean ingredients I needed in the international aisle. So I kind of then figured out what I could do and did a little substitution. Ended up making a tofu hot pot yesterday.
Okay.
And it was actually quite good. It was nice to have some different flavors. So it was fun, but it was just quite an adventure. Oh, and I got the Nasoya. Remember when Justin David Carl was on and he had the product placement kind of things, which only one was a partner of his, he said, but this one was the beef, like Korean barbecue beef. They were pretty good. I dipped those in one of the sauces I had made from this book, and it was actually very nice. So they were good. I don't know how healthy that stuff is, like we talk about all the time, but so I was more excited about the tofu with all the vegetables. So anyway, that was my weekend. Nothing really too crazy. How about you? You getting some Halloween stuff? Yeah, we decorated for Halloween. I forgot to mention that. We decorated and joined the rest of the neighborhood now with
Did you go out and buy new decorations?
No, we had it. I didn't even we had such good stuff. We have a lot of stuff, not nearly competing with the 25-foot skeleton or witches or anything like that, but a nice, decent decoration. So I'm happy with it.
Good. Yeah, we had it was not all that exciting of a food weekend, especially in the plant-based meat world, but we had a really nice fall weekend. Did all the pumpkin carving and went to a fall festival and went to Black Mountain has this big pet parade where they parade all these dogs in costumes out, and did that. That was super fun. So it was a wonderful holiday weekend, but nothing too much to report aside from the fact that we are now on like week 4 in a row of Just Egg brunch, doing a big Just Egg thing, and I love it. It's so good.
Oh, so good.
And the girls love it. So I'm going to keep that up. That's going to be a new weekly tradition for sure.
Very good. That was another thing I saw at the Walmart, who I said was really well stocked with the plant-based meats, except they weren't well stocked. They were out of almost half of it. But they had a lot of spots where it should have been. So that means people are buying it. But what they had there was they had like the frozen Just Egg, like whatever they are, those little square eggs that are folded up.
Yep.
People put them on sandwiches and stuff. They had that. Which did not interest me, but glad to hear that you're digging it. That's good. I'm glad to hear.
Did you get any of the burgers that I think it's Mr. Jeffrey has been telling us to get at Walmart?
No, I forgot about that. That's right. He said the not burger or not something. Yeah, it's all called not. I didn't see that. I didn't get anything because the line was too long. But like if you were there, if you wanted a fake meat extravaganza, which one day we could do, Walmart's a great place for it. So amazing, because that's what you were saying, how happy you were that Walmart of all places was doing this.
Yeah,
and I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see that it's out of stock and people are maybe sending the message that they need to order more. So we'll see. So he says not burger. There were a few comments, Doug, on the costumes. Someone said you should have been a corn chip, and other people said they love them. Doug the Slug, I don't know what that is. It fell through because he watched. Oh, yeah. So someone said that I actually thought this. The guy who was going to adopt the dogs maybe watched this, and when I said that particular dog is peeing everywhere, that made him quit it. If anyone is interested in adopting a dog in Charlotte, I thought I should use this platform, or know someone in Charlotte who's adopting and wants to adopt a dog. They're really nice dogs. It's just 2 puppies are hard to handle.
Yeah, they just need to get trained a little bit, but that's
exactly. But apparently applications are in, so it'll be sad to say goodbye to them when it is time. And then Mr. Jeffrey also says he loves that Korean vegan book. So that's good to hear because I got a few more recipes that I want to make from it. I just need to find a Korean market. There's a Super G Mart, which is like apparently an amazing place, and there's one ready to open up by my house, but the only one right now is like half an hour away. So I have to make a trip to that. But apparently they've got some good stuff, including like food stalls of 3 different countries. So I'm pretty pumped about Super G Mart.
Right on.
Yes. So anyway, getting to the show, the Happy Halloween episode. Well, first we got Justin Fields news. So the Bears, for anyone watching at home, they lost yesterday. I think it was 49-29 to the Cowboys, and the Cowboys appear to be a pretty good team. So that is not shocking, given that the Bears are in this rebuilding year. But Justin Fields, the plant-based quarterback of the Bears, in case you haven't been watching this show at all, he had another big day. He had 251 total yards, 3 touchdowns, passer rating now above 93 in the past 4 games. Massive improvement from the 58 he had in the first 4. And he's done this recently against 2 of the most talented, well-coached defenses, according to the article that I found. And no stars around him, but he improves anyway. Sign of a good quarterback. So it seems that the Bears are happy now, or Chicago is happy in general with the Bears quarterback. And although they're rebuilding, quarterback does not appear right now, based on the past 2 weeks, to be a spot they need to fill. So a loss is actually good, I read, because now they're getting better with the draft picks, since they're not going to do anything this year. And if quarterback's filled, then they actually could be decent. So maybe Justin Fields will become the superstar quarterback that we're all hoping. We'll see.
So I'm so out of touch with football these days that I didn't even know where to look to read an article about how well he did yesterday. I mean, obviously I Googled like if he won or lost, but what I did was I watched the like highlights of the game, and the whole time I was like, man, he's playing great. It's his defense that's playing terribly, and his offensive line is playing terribly, and like he's getting sacked, but he ran a couple touchdowns and he's making some completions. I was like, man, this guy's pretty good. So I was glad when you sent the article over for me to read ahead of today's show that they basically agreed with me. So.
Good. Yeah, apparently his legs are what makes him, a big time prospect. Is that he can run, ironically, like Michael Vick, right? Who was the awful dog guy who had the dog fighting and all that. But he was, to me, the first quarterback who really started this revolution of quarterbacks who run. So Fields, runs. I don't think he had any rushing touchdowns, although it says 3 touchdowns. I actually don't know if any were rushing touchdowns, but it'll be cool. I mean, that's even better to me for a plant-based athlete. If we need a new face of the plant-based movement in the NFL, it's good to have a good athletic mobile quarterback, not some slow guy who stands in the pocket and just is smart. So I'm glad everything. Lots to be happy about with Justin Fields.
Absolutely.
All right.
So Hooked on Plants wants to know what kind of shampoo you use, because you got some nice looking locks there.
Oh, okay. I thought Hooked on Plants was asking you that question.
I'm guessing she's asking you.
Right. I did use a little bit of the same hair product that I typically use to get the part correct. It's obviously a little long around the ears and stuff. Then it's not perfect, but it's okay. It's also a little more platinum blonde than I meant. But the day before Halloween is kind of not slim pickings. Needed to find Amazon next or same day delivery, and even that almost didn't happen. It was late. I got it this morning. Okay, so this is not Halloween, but it's a bit of a weird, spooky story. It's from the Mirror, UK publication. I sneakily fed my daughter's pal meat. She's a strict vegan, but she wolfs it down. And the subheadline is: a parent has caused a stir on social media after confessing she feeds her daughter's friend meat when she comes over for dinner, even though she follows a strict vegan diet. That's mostly all there is to the story. The woman shared this in the Am I the A-hole forum on Reddit, and she said they're 2 12-year-old girls. They have sleepovers every now and then. This friend's family maintains a strict vegan diet where she isn't even allowed to drink milk. So that's strict of a vegan diet where you can't even have milk. And her parents are nice, but a bit on the neurotic side. So anyway, she thinks that because this girl is smaller and paler than her own daughter, it's likely tied to the family's diet. So therefore, whenever she's over, she makes a big meaty meal for them. Some cheeseburgers, steak on the grill, big glass of milk. She absolutely loves it, politely asks for more. And, for snacks, they get venison jerky. for breakfast, scrambled eggs, bacon, big glass of milk. So basically, she's only eating animal products while she's at this house.
Yeah, yeah.
And she wolfs it down and loves it. And I guess that is somehow evidence that that she's being neglected or something, since she loves this food.
Yeah, well, she goes on to say that that she leaves with a new glow or something like that, as if she.
Okay.
And I worry about her being malnourished or something like that. So this is I don't know. This is I hate this story so much. I hate that it exists. I hate that the person does this. First of all, if you're 12 years old and you've been eating a strict vegan diet and you drink a big glass of milk and eat bacon and eggs and steak for dinner, like there's no way she's going home and not feeling absolutely miserable the next day. Like, right? Like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong about that, but
no, I think you're right. So that's a good point. And they don't mention that.
No. So I mean, it's okay. So we have vegan kids. We're vegan parents. Is it a problem if they went over to a friend's house and were served chicken nuggets or something like that? I mean, at least at this point, your kids are old enough to where like they can make those own decisions.
Right. And yours may not be able to, but this girl in the story is 12 years old. So she's as old as my oldest child.
Yeah, she definitely can. Yeah.
And so that's my only, I'm not at all, of course, siding with the mom who does this. It's ridiculous. But I am thinking, like, if my kids went over to a friend's house, they just wouldn't eat if this was what was being given. Right. And they would like call us and they would say something's wrong. Like they're only trying to feed me this food. And like, it just seems weird. So I'm surprised that the girl just wolfs it down. So if that much is true, then I guess I'm not faulting anyone. I guess though that the girl should like maybe tell her parents that she really likes this food.
Yeah. Right.
And then the parents have a decision of whether not she should eat it or not. But it's just, I don't know. It's just very strange that the girl would eat the food. Of course, the mom's totally wrong for doing this stuff.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But it's also weird that this actually is that the girl allows this to happen. Maybe some people are shy and can't say no and whatever.
Yeah, I wonder how much of that is like pressure, like, oh, because it sounds like the mom is kind of like pushing it on her a little bit, and but if she wolfs it down, like she could always pick at it, and if she didn't want it. And so it sounds to me like the 12-year-old kid maybe wants to eat some of these things, explore some of those foods, and that's her prerogative, and that's totally fine. But it is totally out of line for any parent to be making that judgment for the for the kid or for another family. Like, the parents should be talking to the other parents, it's crazy. I mean, there's nothing about this that is in any way appropriate for a parent to do.
I mean, it's also very possible, like we're saying, we don't know what the detail of this. It's very possible the entire thing is made up or large part. It's just someone's Reddit post saying she did this. And apparently a bunch of people kind of killed her for it on Reddit. But yeah, I mean, who knows? It's just, who knows how much is true, how much isn't.
The whole that is happening, right? I mean, there's definitely those people. I mean, there's
right.
There's like grandparents that like, you give your vegan kid over to and that want them to try those things because they're missing out or whatever.
It's just there's a hole in this story that like there's no mention of sneaking her the food and telling her it's vegan or pretend putting the non-vegan food, because that's more of a grandparent move, I would think, is to give them something and say this is vegan. But like with this, they're acting like this always happens when she comes over. If it happened one time, the daughter, I think, is going to tell the parents that she ate totally different food there. And they didn't listen to her being vegan, and then it probably wouldn't happen again, or at least the parent would intervene. So that there appears to be no communication on the parent's part. And the whole health experience said it's hard for the kid. I guess maybe hard for the kid to say no. A 12-year-old should be sent over with her own vegan meats and dishes. Parents would need to collaborate. And that's the main point. Whether or not you're sending stuff over with the kid, anytime my kids are in this situation, we explain what's going on and we say that she's vegan. And we either send her with vegan pizza if they're having pizza, or maybe sometimes the parent will offer to also get a vegan pizza. I mean, just the entire thing is communication, and there's some amount of sending. So it's just so weird that it would happen repeatedly without communication, and that the girl will keep going there. I just don't understand it, which makes me think we're not getting all the facts here.
Probably true.
Yes. So good enough. Enough with that. On to the Halloween, which is the fun part of the day. I mean, really, it's mostly candy today. There's not a lot of Halloween stuff. We did the Halloween costumes on Friday. There is Halloween party tips and things like that. But mostly it's the vegan candy, and that's the story of the day. The Beat has published one. This good headline here. I gave out vegan Halloween candy. Here's what happened. And the big thing that happened, which she reveals in the third paragraph. In fact, I was pleasantly surprised that the vegan candy was met with the same enthusiasm and more as the traditional old ones I used to buy. So very little of note happened.
Definitely a headline that doesn't live up to the hype.
Right. She goes on. I hate to nitpick because I'm sure it was a nice woman who wrote this article. I think she writes a lot for the Beat. But she's trying to say the kids were dressed as a minion and Gru. But she writes a mignon, Mignon, like a filet mignon. So they were thought to be dressing as Mignon and Gru, and made their mom go as a mignon too. I think minion is Minion. So I was so confused as I was reading that. I thought it was some ironic vegan thing that was happening. But it's not a mignon, it's a minion. And so anyway, not much interesting there. What is useful is PETA's list of surprisingly vegan candy, which she included in the article. We've got another one from Veg News too, so I'll be quick with this, and then we can call out whatever ones we want. Here's the surprisingly vegan candies: Airheads, Atomic Fireballs, Big League Chew, Bottle Caps, Brock's Lemon Drops, Brock's Root Beer Barrels, Charms Blow Pops, Chick O Stick, Cocoa Mel's, Crybaby, Dots, Dum Dums, Fun Dip, Hubba Bubba, Jolly Rancher, they're hard candy, Jujubes, Juji Fruits, Mamba, I love Mambas when I was little, Mary Jane and Mary Jane Peanut Butter Kisses, Nerds, Now and Later, pop-up just messed me up, Pixie Sticks, Red Vines, Skittles, Smarties, Sour Patch Kids, Super Bubble, Surf Sweet Gummies, Sweet Tarts, Twizzlers, and Zots. And then apparently the Food Network also has another list, and they've added Fruit by the Foot, Swedish Fish, and Enjoy Life, which I don't know. I should bet before we get into the candies discussion, I should mention one of the services that the writer does with this article. I don't mean to bash it just because she misspelled minion. Is she points out that the dairy and allergy friendliness, like that's the big reason for a lot of people to have this. And that's why it was met with some enthusiasm, because a lot of people, apparently a dentist or a dentist person of theirs said that there's a lot of issues with allergies that happen, and happy to have the dairy-free option. And that makes sense, right? If kids are going to just be getting random candies and then eating them like crazy that night and not probably showing their parents, it's good that at least let's get potential allergies out of there. That seems like a good idea. But yeah, I don't know. So Doug, are you excited about any of the vegan candies?
Okay, so as the comment section is making very clear, these are mostly the worst candies that
like the worst, like the quality of like the excitement level of getting them.
Yeah. Like
they're not very good.
No one's getting excited about Dots anymore. Dum Dums. No.
Smarties.
Jolly Rancher hard
Smarties
candy.
From 1940 and how.
Yeah. There were a couple surprises for me though. I thought for some reason in my head Skittles weren't vegan, so
I think they used to not be vegan. I think that may have changed. So that there's also a Veg News article which I will consult at the same time. I'm not going to read the whole list unless I see different stuff. But Veg News has 26 vegan Halloween candies and other treats we found at Target. To that they had Dum Dums, Ring Pops. Let's see if I can find any new ones. I think I said Laffy Taffies. Yeah, so they have Skittles. They don't mention anything about it becoming vegan. The Veg News article, interestingly, specifies individually wrapped strawberry Twizzlers, which is not most. I think most are cherry flavor or just original flavor, and they're not always individually wrapped. So I don't know.
Interesting.
Why they don't clarify why the difference or why the specificity of that one. Fruit Gushers, never liked those when I was a kid.
No.
90s throwback though, Doug. You like the retro stuff. Yeah, and then they get into a bunch of different snacks and things, Oreos and. Apparently Larabar has minis now that are out and can be used as candy. So yeah, not a great list.
I'm a fan of Swedish Fish and also a fan of Sour Patch Kids. So both of those will be the ones that I'll be looking for in my kids' baskets tonight.
And they're basically the same thing, right? Sour Patch Kids are basically Swedish Fish, different flavors with sour sugar on them. Yeah, my kids, that's probably their favorite candy, Sour Patch Kids. Granted, they haven't had all these non-vegan candies that you and I remember from Halloween days. Right. My kids eat a lot of Dum Dums. They get them at different things somehow, soccer practices and whatever. They just get given out. So they have Dum Dums, and I love Swedish Fish when I was a kid. That was like nearly number one seed candy for us. They were.
Oh, really?
it just somehow in my school that was like prized candy. It was better than any other gummies, gummy bears, gummy worms, any of that, which isn't vegan. Most of that these days, but I think Swedish Fish always has been for as long as I've known. So that's a big one. Airheads are okay. Jolly Rancher was kind of a craze when I was in middle school. There people were always passing around Jolly Ranchers.
Oh yeah,
and I thought I remembered those not being vegan for a while. So that's also a new one to me.
Just the hard candy.
Yeah, I mean, who wants hard candy?
Just, I know that's the problem. Is it takes forever, and my kids would be way too impatient. Yeah,
yeah. By the way, Veg News tells us that the things that make candy not vegan, so this is what to look out for, would be dairy, confectioner's glaze, which is derived from insects, also known as shellac, carmine, which is derived from insects, and gelatin. So those are your big ones. Honey, of course, would be in some candies, not many. But yeah, I mean, look, it's largely the chocolate that you're throwing away.
I mean, the big thing that stands out here is that none of these candies are chocolate, right?
Yeah, and they're like, so Veg News in their little healthier one, they mention I guess Justin's. Is that the brand that you always see at the Whole Foods checkout?
Yep.
Yeah, so the Justin's peanut butter cups. Those, I had some, they were okay. We used to get them. They weren't quite as good as Reese's, and maybe it's just less sugar probably. So that was, but they're good. And then Unreal makes chocolate. I forget what I had of them. They have dark chocolate coconut bars shown on this Veg News thing. But I think they had little like hard candy, like almost like M&Ms. And they were really good. So that's another good choice. And there are other chocolate candies, but if a typical regular old chocolate bar or bar with chocolate in it, if it doesn't talk about being organic and healthy and all this stuff, it's probably going to be good old milk chocolate.
Right.
Which it just means most of your Halloween candy is getting traded or tossed out or turned into the dentist, who will sometimes pay money for Halloween candy. So if you get a bunch, look for that promotion.
So one thing, this is a hot tip.
Okay.
Not a hot take, a hot tip that we're doing this year, because we're going over to someone's house to trick or treat from there. So we're gonna be hanging out there and do the whole trick or treating rounds or whatever. So we're bringing some candy, some chocolate candy with us, because our kids just aren't going to be as thrilled about a lot of these, and also they're going to want a lot of the chocolate candy. So we're bringing some over. So we're bringing a couple chocolate bars, also some Oreos, and we actually did pick up some of those Justin peanut butter cups to swap them out, so that when they get there and they are looking through all the candy, we can kind of replace it with some stuff that they're excited about, in addition to the Smarties and all the other stuff that is accidentally vegan.
Yeah. I didn't see Necco wafers, which I wonder if they're vegan, because those have kind of have a resurgence. Do you remember those things?
Necco wafers?
Necco, they were like an 80s candy. They were early. Okay. They came in like a little waxy roll, like rolled up in a waxy paper, and they were little discs. But they were pretty good. I don't know if they're vegan or not, though. Speaking of tips, though, Doug, I appreciate that you have given that. Well, that's actually a good tip that I did not, never did that. Never thought to bring my own candy somewhere. Mainly because we don't have a shortage. Like, the kids get enough candy that even once they separate out all the non-vegan candy, which includes Tootsie Rolls. Tootsie Rolls, you get a ton of Tootsie Rolls. At least I used to.
Yeah.
That's not vegan, so you can't eat those. Even the flavored, colored Tootsie Rolls, they're no good either. So you end up with not that much candy left over. They still, if they eat that, that's more candy than they eat, I think, the rest of the year. And they eat it in one night. But first of all, again, it's a vegan diet, sort of automatically removes a lot of your choices. But in this case, to me, it leaves over plenty of candy. So we've never needed let them have other candy or bring in more. We talk about this fairly often on No Meat Athlete Radio. It seems like every Halloween we talk about it. I'm always shocked at how, like, my kids, they have the same old sweet tooth that a lot of kids have. They want the junk food. If they start eating cookies or chips or get introduced to that stuff, they will very easily keep eating it, and we need to then step in and say, okay, now we got to limit it or whatever. Yeah. And as they get older, they're better at regulating. But with Halloween candy, I guess I'm used to the way that we did it when I was a kid. Is you would eat a third of your candy, which was a ton of candy. You would eat that on the first night. And then over the rest of the week, you would eat the rest of it, and maybe you leave behind a few little stragglers that you didn't want, and then that would get thrown away or whatever after a month.
Right.
But and so I'm always thinking that my kids are going to be disappointed and they're not going to, or that they're going to eat every bit of their candy. But somehow after the first night, they largely forget about the candy. It's like maybe they don't have enough really good ones that they're excited to eat, but the next day they'll have a few, and then by day 3 or 4, like they're not touching any more of their candy, and it just goes out to wherever, the dentist, or we throw it away, or we give it. Usually stays in the pantry and we give it away. But somehow they don't eat a ton of it, and I've not figured out what is the reason. Maybe it's that there's not that many really good ones, because like I said, they have the same temptations as anyone else does in sweet tooth, but it's just never been a problem. And you would think someone focused on healthy eating, that like Halloween would be the big, day when you got to be on alert and make sure they don't eat too much. But they eat 6 or 10 or 12 pieces or whatever, and then they're good, and they mostly don't eat the rest of it.
Yeah, I wonder if it's so. One thing I've noticed is that my kids have been really good. I mean, they don't listen any more than any other kid does, but when it comes to candy, they're pretty good about, if I'm like, okay, this is your last piece or this is your last one, then they're done for the night and they're okay with it. And then they just kind of, it's never one of these like, I'm going to be ravenous and throw them all back the next day kind of thing. It's just kind of like, okay, I get my like treat for the day or whatever. I'm going to have some Smarties or a Dum Dum or whatever, so I don't know. I wonder if it is that we're, that they're kind of getting the like, worst candy.
It might be very possible. Because when you eliminate that much, I don't know, it's not that good what's left.
But they also, they really love chocolate, and so if they have a bag full of chocolate, it's hard to like pull that away from them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Jody says she wishes they made vegan candy corn. That's always been a strange thing, and I kind of appreciate candy corn now. I don't know. I miss that taste. Such a nostalgic thing. I'd eat a couple candy corns if we had those. I thought there was some company that was very small scale making vegan candy corn, but I think largely you can't get it vegan.
What's in there?
I think it might be gelatin in that one. I'm not positive. Okay. Also, possibly that shellac stuff, like the waxy kind of coating. I just don't know. And then people are talking about palm oil. Someone, Julie Junam, brought up if we're talking about vegan candy, can we talk about palm oil? Why should a vegan avoid palm oil? And then Mr. Jeffrey has answered the same thing I would have said, that it's vegan, but a lot of farming of it from Indonesia, which I didn't know, destroys the orangutan's environment, and so many vegans avoid it. Yeah, I actually did not know the specifics. I just know it is fraught with environmental concerns. Yeah. Honestly, I don't think about the environment that much. I guess my thing is, we eat vegan, and I read all these things about how that's better than giving up your car, and it does this and this. And we have my wife does a lot of good environmental practices, so I follow, like not using paper towels almost ever. Other than that, I'm just like, forget about the environment, because I think I'm doing everything. So, or a huge, massive thing. So I don't think about palm oil and stuff like that, but perhaps I should.
The big offender with palm oil that we run into is peanut butter and almond butter. Any sort of nut butter oftentimes has palm oil in it.
Yes.
And so you have to kind of seek out one that doesn't, or a natural kind.
See, you also do that for health reasons, right? Sorry to interrupt you, but like we accidentally the other day got a peanut butter that had palm oil in it, and no one's eating it because we just get regular old peanut butter, and I wouldn't want to eat palm oil. I think it's probably saturated fat. I think it's like coconut oil. I'm not positive about that. It's not. I don't think it's the same as coconut oil, but I think it is saturated, a lot of it. So. Yeah. We don't need it for that reason. But if it was a candy situation, because of the tiny quantity involved of candy we're eating in a year, it's just not something I would care about. And that probably same goes with the environmental argument. They're like, it's such a tiny quantity. This is not, to me, it's not like an animal thing where you draw a hard line and say, I'm not eating that no matter what. For me, it's like, if I'm doing some amount of tiny damage by eating that, it's, in the big picture, to me, not a big factor.
Yeah. But I mean, palm oil is a terrible offender for both the environment and like a couple of people have mentioned, the orangutans, the habitat that live in these environments.
And that's important. That is, if the animals are the big driver of things, then things that harm animals indirectly like that, that should factor into my food decision. So I will I'll let you think more about that. Mr. Jeffrey says he thought candy corn is vegan, at least in Canada. I don't know about that, but if so, you should set up a business, Mr. Jeffrey, where you illegally import it to the United States or export to the United States, and I could be on the other end of that, and we could make some cash with vegan candy corn sold to Americans. All right, more discussion and comments. Yeah. Anything else, Doug, that we should get into on this Halloween day, on this All Hallows Eve?
You know, I don't think so. I hope you have a very spectacular evening tonight.
What do you have plans? Do you have like a Black Mountain, like Main Street? They close down the street and people get together
Yeah,
for a
they
town
closed down a
festival.
couple blocks of like a neighborhood near downtown, and pretty much the whole town goes there, which I like. It's really fun. I mean, you run into literally all of your friends and all of your friends' kids,
Your
and
coffee mug artisan hipster guy.
your neighborhood coffee mug artisan
Mm-hmm.
hipster guy, or they run into you.
Uh-huh.
You know, and we have a friend who lives in the neighborhood, so we go and hang out, and we'll have a beer or whatever before we trick or treat. So I really like that. The problem I have with that is that it's not at all the trick or treating experience that I have, because there's so many kids. Like, the people are out there, and it's almost like a line. It's just like a candy factory, basically. That instead of ringing on a doorbell or going up to a porch and you're the only kid there and you say trick or treat and you run down to the next house and it doesn't have the light on,
And
so
then
you
and then
sit there,
throwing just eggs if they don't
and then
deliver.
exactly, and just egging the
Just
crud out of a house, so um no, it's like it's a totally different experience. So it's super fun, but it's also kind of like, I don't know, not quite as nostalgic as I want to go to a neighborhood where it's just like, some of the houses are giving out candy and some aren't.
right. Yep. Ours is we came here last year before we lived here. We were building already, so we figured we could. Uh
Mm-hmm.
and it is a very good traditional Halloween experience. As we've talked about, everyone decorates. So people are into it. Most of the houses are involved. And the kids go up, some of the people are out on their porches. That happens more still since COVID. People stay out on their porches and
Mm-hmm.
don't have people come all the way to the door. And it's not a bad as far as efficiency goes. It's kind of like what you're saying though. It's just it's a little different. You just go up and grab your stuff. Uh, but yeah, very, very typical here. And are you going to be wearing, hope you're not wearing 3D printed salmon to follow the girls around
No,
the
no,
neighborhood.
no, I'm not. I will be in costume. I'll be Olaf tonight. My youngest is obsessed with Anna right now, so she's gonna be Anna, and then my oldest is a ninja, and so her and her mom are running around as ninjas.
Wow,
So,
a ninja. That's cool.
yeah, she put us through ninja training. Me and Katie, Eliza, the kid, put us through
Hmm.
ninja training to see who would win and become the ninja, and we were doing something where we had to balance on like a log,
Wow.
and Katie and I were looking at each other and we are like, we could literally stand here all day. It's like so who wants to really do this? And so I hope she's not listening to this, but I definitely I definitely gave up my spot as ninja.
Well, why is she into ninjas? Where is she following
I don't
some
know. She doesn't watch any
books or
ninja shit.
shows?
I have no idea where she got it, but we play ninja in the house. We like crawl around and
Uh-huh.
sneak up on people and stuff, and or try to like save
Wow.
something.
Maybe you should get her in martial arts.
I know, maybe, but I'm excited
Mhm.
about it. It'll be fun. I'll be Olaf, not a 3D printed salmon here. I'm sure zero people would understand.
Yeah, I think 0. Uh, did you make that? I mean, obviously you made that. What did you make that salmon out of?
It's cardboard
Uh-huh.
and
And you
it's
put little
attached to a
lines?
hat. I attached it
Wow.
to a
Oh,
hat.
you do a lot of effort. Okay.
I know, and
And
I
how'd you
had to
get the
make
lines on there?
I had to make
You
two
drew one?
versions um, because at first the first time I did the whole thing kind of pink orange, and then tried to draw the white lines on there with crayon, but it wouldn't show up over top of the other one because
Okay.
the crayon wouldn't go on the other crayon. So
Mm.
I had to start from scratch and do the white lines first and then do it, because otherwise it really wasn't obvious what it was without the lines. They were kind of needed. So
Still looks like a salmon that's kind of been in the grocer's refrigerator for a
yeah,
little
a
too
little
long.
bit too long, which I kind of is what I envision a 3D printed salmon to look like.
Yeah,
So,
true. Although they can use whatever color they want in the 3D printing.
that's true. That is true.
Wait, did Eliza understand what you were making?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, not even close.
Okay.
She did help me a little bit, and these are her 3D glasses from like a little magazine that she had, and we had to go hunting those down. She was really excited for me to use them on the show. So, yeah,
Well, my kid's Ellary's being a Dorothy, and she looks quite good as Dorothy. She has a little
awesome.
basket with a little Toto. So that's cool. Holden's being he's at that lame teenager age where you just do whatever you can to get the candy.
Yeah.
So he's a Charlotte soccer player, which is basically what he is in real life. I mean, it's the same club even. It's just their pro. He's being a pro version of that.
That's funny.
So he'll just do that, and then I will not probably be Doug. I doubt I'll wear a wig around. I don't know, but maybe we'll follow the kids around, and I'll probably bring a non-alcoholic beer like I did last Halloween. It worked out nicely. I liked the feeling of getting home from Halloween and not having any beers on a weeknight.
Yeah.
Just so
I think you could probably use that wig for some other things if you put your mind to it. Did you buy that wig for this costume?
It's almost a Trump wig. If it was orange, it could be Trump.
Good, yeah.
Did I buy it for this? Yes.
Yep.
Awesome. I had a really spiky orange wig that I thought I was going to use, and then I put it on, and it was just ridiculous. Not good.
I love it.
All right. Well, happy Halloween, everyone. Enjoy. Use the vegan candy list. And yeah, I guess tomorrow we'll have some stories.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Bye. See ya.
Bye.